Welcome to the Tally Tales podcast, number 11 maybe, who knows, but we're here at Ology Brewing Company with the coffee guru, Jason Card. Knows more about coffee than any human being I have met. And I followed Jason around for quite a while when he met him at Lucky Goat, and then he had his journeyman coffee in the old Miccosukee Root Cellar.
Yep.
And had some amusing times in there, some amazing times, and drank some amazing coffee. And then he went to the Hideaway, trying to hide from me, but I found him over there and frequented there until he came to Ology. But Jason has a knack for picking out coffees from around the world that will delight your palate in ways that you didn't think possible. So, Jason, tell us a little bit about how you got into coffee. I know you're a lawyer with a who has passed the bar, but would rather serve coffee to peasants such as myself. Can you tell us how you got into coffee?
That is fair. I did swear into the bar in Kentucky shortly before I moved, and then I moved here, and basically never used it. I've been doing coffee since 2008, 7, something like that. I started in Lexington, Kentucky, and then I moved here with the intention of trying to open a coffee shop, which is really hard to do when you move to a place you don't know anybody. So I moved here, and I worked a bunch of different places.
Atomic Coffee, maybe?
I worked at Atomic Coffee. I worked at Craig's Killer Coffee. I worked at Black Dog for a minute. And then, let's see. I was working at Atomic and decided that I wanted to do my own thing because I was tired of the way everyone does everything. And so I started a really small company doing mostly catering. We did like weddings and markets and honestly all kinds of craziness. I did some yard sales. I did an event at the airport. We did anytime somebody would pay me or let me charge people to make coffee, I would go out and do it.
People need coffee everywhere. In every situation, coffee can be a good thing.
That's true. Doesn't always make a lot of money, but there's always somebody that'll get a coffee.
Coffee's a good business to be into because not everybody drinks coffee, but quite a number of people rely on caffeine. But you guys also do more than coffee here at Ology.
Oh yeah, we do.
Of course you do. You're one of the 50 best breweries in the country. I know a couple years ago they were Ology was nominated.
No, for sure.
They recently have gotten into the spirits business.
Yep.
So they're very spiritual folks up here, and they have some amazing beers that you will check out. But right now we're focusing on coffee. So Jason, tell us how you source your coffee, because I've drank some of the most incredibly flavorful coffees with there's subtle nuances that dance off your palate and just amaze you and change your consciousness. How do you find these coffees?
So there are a ton of really good coffees out there and a ton of really good coffee roasters. So I try to work with people that, I mean, not just have good coffee, but also that I align with them on something like the way they buy the coffee, something they've got going on. Really vibes with what I'm doing, and that's where I usually start. I'll try to get to know some of the people working in the roastery or in the roasting company.
I've noticed you do a lot of woman's owned.
A lot of what?
Woman's owned
coffee. I mean, we try to mix it up.
And tell us about the various methods of fermentation. Just talk a little bit about, the famous lady whose sons went to school here, famous coffee queen.
Some years ago we had a coffee farmer named Ida Botley, who is just really kind of legendary in the industry, and I was serving her coffee at the Root Cellar, which is not a place that a lot of people really knew about. We weren't super busy. We weren't famous by any means. And one day some couple like college kids came in and they asked me if I had her coffee, and I was confused because usually if somebody knows which coffee farmers I'm serving, I probably already know who they are. And I said, yeah, I am. And they said, oh, we're her niece and nephew. We go to FSU, and she wanted us to come in and take a picture because she'd seen on Instagram that you had her coffee. And that was kind of mind blowing, honestly, because I was not expecting. I was very honored. I was like, that is amazing.
That's what happens when you do good things. Good things come to you, buddy.
Tallahassee's it's weird. We're very far away from everything, and then yet we have weird, tenuous connections to places you wouldn't expect.
The beautiful thing about coffee.
Yeah, no coffee and
I've met some really interesting people through you and through drinking coffee and shooting. There's a really intellectual minds and people that are just incredibly intelligent and articulate, much more so than I. But you learn from people better than you are. So
no, that's fair. There's a lot of people that work in coffee and just people that are drawn to like drinking coffee. There's a lot of just really interesting people for sure.
Shout out to Makina real quick. Makina, he's wearing the Makina shirt, which is a beautiful shirt. Yeah, Makina makes great coffee. I'm wearing the old Rick and Morty Fear and Loathing Blitz and Chips, just because I did it for Jason, because he used to say, you wear a different Rick and Morty shirt every day you come in. I came in his coffee shop every day, so there you go. So where do we go from here, Jason? What are your plans for the future of coffee at Ology?
Man.
I know you've got some of your own products. I brought some chocolate kabooms from a Titusville chocolate maker, Butler's Raw chocolate, which is absolutely incredible stuff. And I brought some kabooms, infused with a super immunity blend, they call it, but it's got coffee in it. So I'm pretty sure we're going to be able to hook these guys together, and the Ology can have their own brand of chocolate that they can market. And the chocolatier is interested. So hopefully we can make this happen. Okay. I told Angie I would mention her on the podcast.
All right. I'd love to meet them. I don't know a ton of chocolatiers. I know a couple people that have dabbled in it, but yeah, it's pretty meticulous work to make chocolate. Yeah, you have to pay attention to detail. You have to have the right equipment and a whole hell of a lot of patience. Yeah, no, it makes sense for sure. I feel like it's got a lot in common with coffee.
Yeah. Coffee and chocolate are,
I don't know much about coffee roasting either, but
it's like chocolate and cheese.
Yeah.
Not the Ween album, but chocolate.
It's a good Ween album though.
Yeah. You know Ween.
I do. I saw them live once a long time ago.
All right, so ramble on. Jason, talk about coffee, man.
All right.
Tell us about the difference between Arabica and Arabica and Robusta and the other varieties of coffee that are out there.
Arabica is most of what you drink in like specialty coffee. It tends to be, it's a little less harsh, got a little less caffeine than Robusta. But Robusta, with the way climate change is doing things, I keep hearing, I think Robusta is going to be more and more a part of what people drink, either as Robusta or bred with Arabica and different kind of hybrids, because it's just, it grows a lot better in harsher climates, lower altitudes, things like that. So it's going to be a little bit more sustainable, I think, in the long run. I'm kind of interested to see where we go with that. Probably 5 years ago, it was hard to find any Robusta, and now I see specialty Robusta coming out. It's definitely a thing. So I think it'll probably become more and more common. What
makes a coffee more or less acidic? Is it the fermentation process? I know if you let it brew for a longer period, it can become less. But some people do have problems with acidity in coffee.
Acidity is a tough word, because we use acidity for. Oh no! I think the farmers market folks are setting up. I didn't realize this was happening today. They were a pickup for the farmers market, or the Red Hills market.
What?
We're a pickup for the Red Hills market, and they usually set up right here.
I was in the laundromat 2 months ago, and I met that gentleman who was washing the Red Hills bags. Yeah.
Okay.
And so he gave me the brochure, which I handed out to several people.
We used to have a stack of them up front. I saw that we were out.
And I talked to him. That's a future podcast guest too, the Red Hills folks. The offer, it's like CSA, communities, but it's a slightly different thing, and they deliver the product to you instead of having to go to Whole Foods and pick it up.
No, that's true. No, they come here. We used to be a pickup spot at the Hideaway too. I've just randomly been. I think at the Root Cellar, actually everywhere I've been, it's been a pickup spot for that. Just
had I not ran into him randomly in the washing those things in the laundromat, I would have not known about these guys. They don't advertise.
Yeah, they seem to be doing pretty good with some pretty low key advertising. I see flyers around, and places that I work tend to be pickup spots, so I'm in touch with them a lot. Just
like you buy sustainable coffee from growers that aren't being abused by the Maxwell houses and the Folgers and whoever else sells shitty coffee out there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But how close? I know some people actually go to the And I'm sure you would love to do that, to go visit the coffee.
I actually, in January, for the first time, went on a short trip to Costa Rica.
Wow.
With one of the roasters I work with, Golden Bush. Claudio took me. And yeah, we visited, I think, 3 or 4 farms and a processing station.
Costa Rican coffee.
I should have done that like 10 years ago, but it was very good.
Did you bring back some coffee?
We have a coffee. The samples just arrived Monday.
Oh, good. Maybe I can take some with
So
me.
yeah, we will. So Claudio's gonna roast it up. We're gonna buy a lot of it. I think we have to choose which final one we want to go with, but we tasted it down there, and we'll taste it again now that it's here. But yeah, very soon we'll have a coffee that was from a farm I actually got to visit, which is
it's amazing how
cool.
Every part of the process, from fermentation to roasting, like Starbucks burns their beans, of course, but whatever. That way you got more beans in the bag normally because it's dry.
Actually, that kind of cost them money because it took more beans to roast it dark and end up with the same amount.
Yeah.
So they would make more money if they roasted lighter.
Yeah, I know, and they would have better tasting coffee. But anyway,
because they were kind of a reaction to the really big commercial roasters like Folgers and Maxwell House. They had what was called a cinnamon roast, where they roasted it just the bare minimum that they had to roast because they didn't want to lose the weight, and so they were saving money by roasting, and it was gross in a different direction. But yeah, so Starbucks is like, look, we were willing to sacrifice profit to roast it more.
Anyone that is more concerned with the money aspect of the coffee than how the coffee is going to taste is not going to produce as good a coffee as somebody that's passionate about what they're doing.
I think that's true.
Yeah, and it's amazing how many different coffee plantations are on the planet, aren't there? I'm shocked. So where's your next trip?
I don't know. I might go. I'm probably going to go back to Costa Rica at the same time next year if Claudio will take me. We talked about going somewhere, maybe.
Brazil is a big coffee producer, and
Brazil
of course,
is
Vietnam, oddly enough, is one of the largest coffee producers in the world.
Brazil and Vietnam are number 1 and number 2. I mean, I know that they both have had some weather issues that have cut back their harvest, but they're still got to be number 1 and number 2.
Did you buy in on the coffee in the commodities market when you found out there was a problem with the product? No, usually that's when to buy a product.
Yeah, no, it's probably not the time to buy into the commodity market. No, I definitely. It's been very erratic of late. When we were in Costa Rica, the harvest was very late. They usually have in December is usually when it stops raining, and then January is usually a dry month where they do a harvest, and it was raining up until we got there. I think the day we got there was like one of the first not rainy days they had, so their season was
all that affects the quality of the coffee.
It affects everything. Yeah.
Even the altitude the coffee grows at. Yeah.
Altitude. You talk about acidity. You usually get like more acidic flavors from higher altitude coffees because it forces the beans to grow more, like to mature more slowly because of the less oxygen, stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, Ethiopian coffee is always been one of my favorites, but how, when it didn't rain for 7 years in Ethiopia, how did these coffee plantations exist? There were 7 years of famine in Ethiopia.
That is a good question. I haven't really studied
Were they producing coffee then? I wonder.
They've been producing coffee
for
6 forever.
It seemed like it'd be really difficult.
Actually, I'm gonna research that because I don't know. That's a really good question.
How deep do coffee roots go to get to the moisture?
No, I want to learn more about that. Honestly, I don't know.
Because trees, like a tree, if you look at how big an oak tree is, for example, its roots are that big underneath the ground, and it'll go down there looking for water. Yeah. But I'm not sure about coffee. Since it's a shorter lived.
Yeah, I have no idea how because you would think it takes 4 or 5 years for a coffee tree to start producing. So
I remember you were selling some coffee in these little chocolate cups at the I got suckered about it. I never got any beans off of it.
Bob had one of those that grew in his yard for 5 or 6 years, and then it got too big for him to bring inside, and then a frost killed it.
Oh, yeah.
It got too heavy for him to bring in. He's bringing it in every winter, and then it just got too heavy, and then There is actually somebody growing coffee in Gainesville area. I think the University of Florida has like an extension.
Oh, cool.
I've been meaning to try and go out and visit that.
Well, you should try to tap into that.
I want to just go out there and just see what they're doing. I'm very interested.
Offer your expertise.
Definitely, they could definitely teach me. I don't know anything about growing coffee.
No, offer your expertise on testing the what the coffee's like.
I got you. Flavor. I mean, yeah, we could do that.
And you
I
say
definitely want to make contact down there.
Roasting is a very important part of the process.
Yeah, no, for sure. It affects the flavor. It's like cooking a steak. It's a important part of the process. You wouldn't want to drink green coffee. Doesn't taste great. It's kind of if you could even grind it, it would taste kind of like vegetables.
And there are so many varieties of brewing as well. And I was hoping we could start the session, which maybe we'll come back another time, with Jason making what we call a pour over, which is to me the best cup of coffee I've had. Can you explain the pour over method versus a siphon versus
Oh, okay. So pour over method is, I mean, honestly, it's what a Mr. Coffee brewer does, just with more control over all the variables and not automated. You essentially heat water in a kettle. We tend to use ones with a really thin neck so you can control the flow.
And everything is very clean, unlike coffee makers can get all dunked up.
No, that's true too. Yeah, there's a lot. Yeah, you can get to all the parts to clean everything. That is true. I've heard stories about hotel coffee makers that are a little terrifying. So it gives you a little bit more control over all of the variables. But the idea is honestly to, as much as possible, replicate from cup to cup, kind of doing the same thing, especially in a cafe where you're making, you might make 10 of them in a row. You really want to try to make them taste about the same as much as you can.
So you pour the coffee in medium ground in a filter.
It's that's a kind of a medium-ish grind. Depends on the brewer, but you pour it into a paper filter and a device that holds it and directs the water flow. There's, I don't even know how many. There's probably 10 new brewers on Kickstarter right now. There's always a new brewer, but essentially they work mostly the same. They hold the coffee, they let the water flow, try to guide the water through the coffee as evenly as possible. And then you control the flow and the temperature with the kettle, and then you control the brew time a little bit as well.
And you're very meticulous, I know, in the way you pour the coffee in on the grounds.
Yeah, you want to make sure to get it all, the whole coffee bed wet, so you don't have like floating coffee that's not extracting.
It produces a great cup of coffee. The siphon method. There's the French press. There's so many different ways to brew coffee out there. Everybody's got their own percolator. I remember having the percolator at home. And the current location I'm staying at, Joe loves his Morning Joe with a percolator. Yeah. Little stovetop percolator.
Oh, okay. Well, mocha pot, cafeteria setup, or
percolator for camping. Yeah. You take out with you. It's a little silver pot with a little thing, cup at the top of it.
Okay.
Yeah. It makes a good cup of coffee. Yeah. But as long as you put the right bean in there.
I was gonna say, I think any method can make a coffee if you pay attention to some of the details and start with good ingredients.
My dad, Turkish coffee. He had this. It's over 125 years old. I'm in possession of it now. Gert, I can't remember exactly what they call it, but it's a long-handled brass cup that sits on the stove with a long handle on it. You just pour the grounds in there and the coffee in there. You let it sit there for a while, then you pour it off. It's like turkey, and it's thick. Yeah, and really strong. Yeah, occasionally it's like Cuban coffee, but I think it takes it to the next level to the Cuban coffee. Yeah, they would sometimes put cardamom in it. Right. Yeah. And sugar if you're a sugar man. Yeah. I drink my coffee no sugar, no cream, but occasionally I will put cream in a real strong espresso. So we're talking about coffee. Let's talk about the difference between like espresso, cappuccino, macchiato. There's so many, and some people, a latte and a cappuccino, one's got more foam, but there's also people that have different opinions, different presentations on. I like to go to where the thing originated and what are the Italians doing, what are the Spaniards doing. Okay. So tell us a little bit about that.
Okay. There are espresso and milk is a pretty classic combination. It's going back to, I guess, like early 1900s in Italy. And there are as many different names as there are for ways you can put coffee and milk together.
Cafe au lait, cafe con leche.
Cafe con leche, cafe. Yeah, most of them just mean coffee with milk. Vietnamese coffee. Yeah. But not everyone uses it. There are many different names. The names are super confusing for a lot of people because the same word will mean different things in different places.
Right, which makes
it.
When in Rome, find out what the Romans do and do it that way. But It's also, I remember I owned a Jura Compresso coffee maker years ago, which would make espresso, and there has to be a certain amount of pressure in order to produce what they call a layer of crema on the coffee. You'll make a black cup of coffee, but it'll have a layer of what looks like cream on the top.
Right.
Explain that to us.
Okay.
How does that
So
occur?
yeah, that comes from the gases that are in the coffee being trapped under pressure in the oils from the coffee. So basically, it's like a million invisible bubbles, and it's just a layer.
I heard it was 8 million, just to me.
I didn't realize that anybody knew the
And
number.
on the size of the coffee.
I didn't usually count them. But it is. It's a sign that espresso was freshly pulled with coffee that wasn't super old. But it's got some aromatics in it. We tend to usually like kind of stir it into the coffee or swirl it into the coffee, kind of mix it together. Depending on the coffee you're using, it's aromatic but not very tasty. Or I've had coffees where the crema is like the least tasty part.
And I've heard from people in Italy and Spain that you should use a light roasted coffee to make espresso, even though people think it's a dark roast, a French roast that you would use. But
I think that's a regional. Well, it's a personal preference, and it tends to be. There's some regional preferends too. I think Southern Italy tends to be darker,
it's too
from what I
oily and
understand.
gets gooey and sticky if you try to use a
I
dark.
personally like I don't know. A later roast is a little bit harder to work with, but yeah, like a late medium roast is.
Yeah, but you're an
that's
expert.
my personal
You
preference.
can work with a light roast and make it.
I mean, yeah, for sure. But yeah, I tend to prefer like a late medium roast probably for the most part. I like it to still taste like the coffee fruit a little bit, or like maybe chocolate caramel. I don't like to taste the overpowering roast flavor.
Yeah.
But some people do, and it's a preference thing.
It excites their palate, their
and
taste bud.
it goes. You put milk and white sugar in it.
The olfactory sensation that you get from coffee affects the flavor of it. And I know all these coffees we've had over the years, the various pour overs, will have tasting notes about the different flavors that you can taste in the coffee.
Right.
And it is absolutely amazing that if you'll relax, shut off your internal dialogue, and let the coffee dance on your palate, that you can taste these exotic flavors.
Sure.
Tell us about some of your favorite coffee and the tasting notes.
Some of my favorite coffees. I tend personally to like natural process and anaerobic coffees. I would say mostly. I like the coffees to be a little bit fruit forward.
And what is anaerobic?
I'm sorry. Yeah, anaerobic. Anaerobic is kind of a misnomer because it's anaerobic fermentation, but all fermentation is anaerobic. So really, if I see that on a coffee, it just means that they are being intentional about the way that they're fermenting the coffee.
Right.
Not that it means there's no like a rabbit. Well, I don't know. I would say there's no aerobic
It
fermentation.
has to be
but
anaerobic if it's
right.
fermented.
There are people that do different things with oxygen, and so I saw a coffee that they were brewing
Water
at
fermentation.
negative pressure the other day, and I was like, okay, well, anything could happen. They've got it as close to zero pressure as they could, and I was like, that's
Wow.
wild. I've never thought of that. There's like coffee like it was brewed in space or something. So you can do whatever if you got some time.
We're going all over the place.
Yeah.
And they're coffee beans that they collect from the feces of the civet and the ferret that are sold as ultra high-end coffee. I don't know if I would really. They go through the digestive system whole, and it adds a certain flavor. But I don't think it's the flavor I would like.
That's that's a.
But tell us about some of the coffees that were your favorites.
Okay.
I cut you off before you.
No. I don't know. It depends on what mood I'm in. I like all the coffee. Not all. I tend to not like darker roasted coffees, but almost anything else, I'm in the right mood. I like them to taste like really wild and fruity. I like them to be just regular, like slightly sweet, regular coffee.
I love
depends on mood I'm in.
to Ology on Thursdays, and Jason occasionally will do the flights where you get to taste 3 extremely exotic coffees that are different.
Yeah.
And he provides you with a way to drink some water in between to cleanse his palate. No ginger, but what do you use to cleanse the palate?
Soda water mostly.
Yeah.
I mean, if I was really trying to cleanse it, maybe like
water.
Yeah, I might do a banana or soda crackers if I was really trying to cleanse my palate. Today we did a tea which is called cascara, which is made from the dried husks of a coffee. We had a coffee from Costa Rica, and then we had the tea made from the same coffee. And I served that, and then I made a little cascara soda, sweetened up a little bit, some soda water, and I gave those 3 drinks as a
Wow,
little. It
I've
was
been
kind of fun.
missing out.
We haven't done
a
a flight style in a while, so it was nice to do that again.
Wow, that sounds fantastic.
It was pretty fun.
I remember having some various exotic drinks up there. You were doing the was like fermented fruit drink. What was it called?
Oh, shrub.
Yeah, shrubs.
Yeah.
You ever thought about bringing that back for Ology?
We actually have those on the menu.
Oh.
We've been doing them since.
Where have I been?
We did summer and fall. We skipped winter, and then we got a spring one up right now, which is blueberry lemon.
Ooh, cool.
Yeah,
I had a raspberry in here before. I had a blueberry lemon. Yeah.
I've for probably
Cherry.
almost 10 years I've been making them and like sampling them out to people and giving them to people, and I finally like sold somebody one for the first time.
Wow.
So yeah, we finally put them on the menu and actually like made them a real drink instead of it just being like
I think people
special
aren't
taste.
aware of them, but once they've had them,
Yeah.
because not only that, but they're real good for your gut biome. As you know, there's another brain in your gut. No, seriously,
Yeah.
these really intense, nuclear. I mean, neuroscientists have pinned down, and they've just discovered a third brain in the human heart. Seriously, when you make decisions with that brain, they're always the compassionate right brain. I know that sounds like hogwash.
Okay.
But so did, America or whatever, Columbus, a lot of stuff. That until it's been proven, it sounds like magic or hogwash.
Okay.
But this is actually a true thing. I saw it at the World Science Fair, which is a very interesting thing. You can watch it on YouTube. The greatest minds on the planet in the various disciplines of study talk about crazy stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
That's one of
All
them.
right.
They'll have animal experts, et cetera, et cetera. But
Okay.
anyway, anything else that you want to tell us about coffee, Jason, Ology, and yourself?
I feel like we've been around.
Your son, who's a genius. I mean, whatever. Your wife, who's beautiful, and you're lucky to be with.
I am lucky to. My family's awesome.
Who's smarter than you, makes more money
they're
than
both.
you.
They're both.
My
All right,
God,
fair.
what have you got to bring to
all
the
these
plate?
things are true. I just make that coffee in the morning. That's I make the cocktails at night and the coffee in the morning.
There you go.
I'm pretty much useless the rest of the
Well,
time. I do some dishes. I try to cook dinner.
Yeah, that's what I do. I'm in my relationships, I've always been the chef. I enjoy
I do cook dinner a good bit. I try to do as many dishes as I can.
Are you guys still doing the Friday thing? You'd have somebody come in the morning and cook on.
All of our food people have moved to North Carolina.
Yeah, all people I know are in Asheville.
Yeah,
just met a girl
we had a really
the other day from Asheville.
Yeah, we had a really great donut company moved to Asheville, and we had a really great waffle company. They moved to Charlotte. So, if we could find someone, we've talked about it again. We'd probably try and see if we can find some new people that want to do that. But it was nice to have food pop-ups.
I know.
I would love to get that going again.
I've lost so many friends to North Carolina.
Yep.
A lot of them Asheville. Most of them
That's
Asheville.
fair. Yeah, Asheville.
Few of them Boone.
That makes
some
sense.
Other
Same
Nice
deal. Yeah.
spots up there.
No,
and
for sure.
Hopefully we don't lose Bob, our fellow coffee friend. Who he and I one day I'll never forget. He's an older gentleman. He's a little robust. And it was a rainy day, and we were trying to be the first customer into Jason's establishment when he's journeyman. And I'll never forget the scene of Bob running to beat me to the door, and he hit the water and he slid. But fortunately, he caught himself on the door handle. But he beat me in that day. So whatever that's how good Jason's coffee is. Just to give people that
injuring themselves to get in the door first.
If you've never had a pour over from Jason, then you probably have never really drank a serious cup of coffee.
I don't know if I could say that.
I'm
but
bragging
I appreciate
on him,
I appreciate the
people that
the
are
kind words.
All the people that are great like that are humble as well. So there you go. All right, Jason, let's say something so we can wrap this up. I don't know how much time we've got, but we can wrap it up. You can rap.
I am not going to rap. No,
can't
sir.
rap?
No.
Come on, give us an olive.
No,
give us a coffee rap. Come on.
I'm not doing a coffee rap.
Let's talk about Twin Peaks for a few seconds.
Sure.
And coffee, and how many times Agent Cooper mentioned the word coffee or Joe or a cup of Joe.
It's a couple times. It's a couple times in there.
And yeah, and David Lynch was one of the most amazing human beings that ever lived on planet Earth, and he died this year. So,
Rip.
Our heartfelt sympathies to all the people that were surrounding him. But, Twin Peaks and coffee, buddy.
No, for sure. No, one of my favorite things I've done is bring Cap City Video Lounge when they do Twin Peaks. Every once in a while, I bring them coffee. I brought them a brand new. I did a David Lynch coffee in memoriam, and I brought it back out to Cap City, and I was like, I brought you this, and they were like, I'm never gonna open it. I'm like, no, open it and drink it, and then keep the bag. Definitely drink the coffee.
Kevin said that. Now, Kevin, Kevin was on our last podcast. That hopefully this weekend we'll be done with it. We did
that's fantastic.
He's an amazing character.
Kevin is an amazing character. Yeah,
he
for
knows
sure.
a lot about movies.
Yeah, no, that's awesome.
We talked about.
I don't think you could do a Tallahassee podcast without putting Kevin on.
Yeah. We did. I could do 5 podcasts with Kevin.
That makes sense.
We had the best time ever, and just the pictures on the side of his building, and he was one of the few unscathed from the tornado that ripped through
I was so glad to hear that.
As was Orly.
Yeah.
Orly, he was also on our podcast.
Okay.
The skateboard guy.
Yeah.
Phase 1, he was unscathed, and
that did a lot of damage, but
there are a lot of people.
Some people pulled through.
Most of the good people came out unscathed. I don't know. I know Adam, the owner.
We lost City Dogs, and that one hurt.
You lost what?
City Dogs over. It was in the old All Saints building.
Oh yeah.
They were doing hot dogs and lunch and dinner, and they were doing live music and art shows, and tore the roof off the building. And
wow, the Bark's still over there doing some interesting things.
Yep.
But we want more of that. We're looking at the Nefertari's building to hopefully buy as a community center. Anyone wants to donate $2 million to us, that'd be fantastic.
Okay. That's a good spot.
Have restaurants in there. Have a coffee shop in the morning, 6 a.m. to 10. Have a restaurant, Bella's Funky Food Cafe, in the afternoon, and have rotating chefs, high-end chefs at night, and make it a high-end restaurant.
Interesting.
Then shut it down at 10 and have music, and also have music during the day. Have one room. It's got a lot of rooms set up with possibly flotation tanks, massage chairs, and places for people to come in and get a break during their hectic day at work. They can slide in for some lunch. There'll be a juice bar there.
Okay.
So this is all. I'm trying to manifest it. The building's up for grabs.
Yeah.
And on All Saints, and hopefully there'll be a saint that hears this that's got $2 million laying around.
I
think we've got $500,000. It's $2.5 million. But anyway, thanks everybody for listening. Thank you very much to Jason.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Brian and Nick and Brian's better half and that own this establishment. Who are the owners of Ology? I know there's a bunch of people have their hand in the spot.
They've changed the structure recently, so I'm not sure what actual titles are anymore. But yeah, Brian, Nick, and David, and Brian, Nick, David, and Paul started it.
Yeah, okay, that's right. I forgot about Paul. How can you forget about Paul?
I don't know.
He was one of the disciples, wasn't he?
He comes. They're here. Brian and Paul are in every morning. They work around the corner, make them coffee every day that I work, pretty much. So that's fun. Nick is in time to time.
Jason has his own disciples too, by the way. So I'm one of them. All right, guys, we appreciate everyone listening to this, and we're wrapping this one up. We come to Ology and drink some coffee and change your entire perspective.
Yeah, if you ever have any coffee questions, come by. I'd love to talk about it.
Tallytales.net. We love everybody that's listening to this as Bella did. So tell a lot of Bella stories in the future. All right, stay tuned. Love y'all. Peace.